do we do on Eid? What are the religious practices? Now, the religious practices I'm going to mention are recommended. They are not obligatory, so you're not sinful if you don't do them. But of course, you miss out on the rewards and the spirit, feeling the spirit of the community together. The first thing to do is to have a shower, bathe and clean yourself the night before the Eid or at Fajr time. The second thing to do is to wear your beautiful clothing and smell good. The third thing to do is to eat before you go to Eid prayer. And the sunnah is to eat odd numbers of dates, but if you don't have dates or you don't want to eat dates, you can eat anything else. Number 4 is the famous chanting of the takbir. And the chanting of the takbir comes in many variations. Here is one. Say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahi alhamd. Which means Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest. There is no God worthy of worship but Allah. Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest. And to Him belongs all praise, thanks and gratitude. As I said, there are different versions of it. There are some longer versions and all of them are acceptable and valid by God's will. Now, when you go to a mosque and you hear them chanting, you should chant along. But don't be alarmed if you find a mosque who does not chant the takbir. And the reason for that is because there is a difference of opinion about whether it's recommended or not. However, the majority of the schools of thought of scholars, and the schools of thought are called the Hanbali, Maliki and Shafi'is, if you know what I'm talking about, all of them unanimously agree that chanting the takbir is a recommended act which the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, did. The only school of thought who concluded that it is not recommended is the Hanafi school of thought. And I'm talking about Eid Ul Fitr. I'm not talking about Eid al-Adha, the other one. So in Eid al-Fitr, you might go to a mosque who are following the Hanafi school of thought, and they believe that you shouldn't really say it. Don't be alarmed, they are not sinning, and it's something called a valid difference of opinion, which does not make a difference in your religion. However, whichever one you follow, inshallah, just follow it, or you can do it yourself and respect each other. Now, when does the takbir begin? When does this chanting begin anyway? It actually begins at sunset the night before Eid Ul Fitr. Some people think that it starts on the morning, when you're going to the mosque, but actually starts at Maghrib. Once you've established Eid is the next day, then from Maghrib time, from sunset, the takbir begins all the way until the next day, and they end when the Imam says Allahu Akbar and begins the Eid prayer. That's when the chanting ends. So once again, the chanting of Takbir, Allahu Akbar, begins at sunset before Eid, the night before, and ends when the Eid prayer commences. Now, when do you say the Takbir chanting? You say them anytime, anywhere, everywhere. You don't say them only after prayer. In fact, in Eid al-Fitr, you don't say them after prayer. That's in Eid al-Adha. In the big Eid, you do that. But in this Eid, you just say it randomly, anywhere, as you like, in your car, walking, coming, standing, sitting, and let your children say it as well with you. Again, it ends at Eid Salat. The next Sunnah act to do, the recommended act, is to greet each other. You greet each other with peace, you greet each other with beautiful words, and one of the things you can say is تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ طَاعَتَكُمْ. May Allah have accepted your worship, meaning the worship that you did in Ramadan. And you can say Eid Mubarak and other words similar to that are beautiful. The next Sunnah act to do is that when you go to the mosque or the place of worship, is to go in a particular direction and return it from a different direction to your car or to your house. And that's so that you can meet more people and greet them. The next sunnah to do is to actually go to the Eid prayer. And it is highly recommended for men, women and children to all go together to the Eid prayer, even women who are not praying for religious reasons. They are also encouraged to go to the Eid prayer. The only difference is that the women who are not praying at that time, they just don't pray the Eid prayer, but they share with the celebration with everyone else in everything else. The next sunnah act to do is to go and greet and give, of course, the greeting of Eid to your parents and your family, and also to your relatives and your cousins. Share goodness, brothers and sisters. Share everything that is nice, anything that brings happiness and smiles, especially your children. Be easy on them and let them feel the spirit of Eid and their identity very, very strongly. These are the basic practices that we do on Eid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your worship and ours. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relieve and lift the oppression and persecution of our brothers and sisters in Gaza, Palestine and everywhere around the world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them from the hands of their oppressors. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon their martyrs. Make their children who were slain and gone, awaiting for their parents at the fountain of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam al-Kawthar and at the doors of paradise. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shelter all those who are destitute. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this year a year of justice and a reformation for the better for us, for you, for our brothers and sisters around the world. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your Eid. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.